boy, would it feel great. Just making sure I did everything right, though, because I pulled the characters directly from, you know, the workshop, as always, but I feel like it's important to remind myself, at least, every now and then, because if something goes wrong, yeah, while I do like, you know, try to quickly play the characters, you know, sometimes I can't get a full grasp, and then something breaks on the graphics, and then the game crashes. So if that does happen, as we get into the World of Horror character exclusive, our first custom character run, then just know, yes, I pulled them directly from the workshop, so things should be working. For the most part, I think both characters are the English version, so didn't have to do any follow hook. Actually, no. This character I'm using right now, as I get second, light, charisma, strength, and maybe a knowledge check, was not working immediately when I pulled them from the workshop, so I had to actually throw them into the custom character folder on my system. But I don't know if that's something different. So, without further ado, I mean, not really much else. There's just 2 characters. This is the first one, and I think originally this character was made in Chinese. So, again, making the transfer over to the English, because the creator made a Chinese and an English one, and when I tried to use the English one, the character was not appearing on the character select screen, and so I had to basically take the character files, and the files at least work, but I think there's something about the structure that was not working. I can't remember because I tested it a while ago. Also, we are on 1.02, so there are still some blank mysteries here that I have to be careful not to click. But as I have Kana, Botanist, Teacher, Ward, and Coma, I hope I set the illegal den. That being said, 5 Strength, 4 Dexterity, 3 Perception, 7 Knowledge, 6 Charisma. Kind of an even spread. If the luck is lower, then kind of a worse spread, but not really too bad. If we're using the Scalpel, 7 Knowledge is perfectly fine, and free have 5 Strength, that is perfectly fine too. That being said, should have set the illegal den, but again, for the most part, we should be getting things to work. So if you missed something before the beginning of the stream, you didn't really miss much. Good luck, I'll need it, because boy, I'm going to forget things. That being said, I'm now, at least maybe because of that, I'm now conscious about my second encounter check, but yes, I really missed the fact that I didn't do illegal den. By the way, this character has Ghost Connection. Is this Magic Caster? I can't remember. But as fun as that would be to play around with 10 Doom there, I don't really have a lot of Doom to spare else. So instead we're going to do the other stuff and move on. These stats seem mediocre, yes, but the fact that the character starts with a weapon at all is pretty good, and its Scalpel, in my opinion, isn't the worst. To some player standards, it is a bit lacking, but again, the ability to prep attack is far leaps and bounds better than a wooden bat that you can't even do Desperate Prep Strong. So, by the way, we just have to get rid of this. But we'll see. I've done more than a few Mimi runs successfully with the Scalpel, and these are pretty much, well, these are not specifically Mimi stats, but as we roll 12 on Charisma there, they are, the 7 Knowledge and the 5 Strength is pretty close, and I think Mimi actually is missing 1 Strength, so then being able to guarantee a Brace Kick is okay. Ghost Connection is indeed Magic Caster, yes, so that's Arcane Grasp and Ghost Connection, I believe. Probably should have grabbed it, but it's RNG anyway, and we have Mind Drain, by the way. So this character starts with, I think, yeah, Mind Drain and a Scalpel, which Mind Drain on its own is also a huge boon to your run. Normally, I personally use it less than I think, but hey. And if it's higher than Ayaka, it's better. But Ayaka is kind of one of the extreme examples in terms of stat spread being low. You can be, there is a middle ground, and this character is nearly reaching it, except for the fact that 7 Knowledge. If their Knowledge was like 6, then it would be teetering on the edge, if not a little bit over, but again, being able to prep attack is the bare minimum. If I'm really thinking about where we're going. That being said, Ward or Teacher? We'll take Ward. We're gonna try to level up before we enter Teacher, and that's why I like 5 Strength, because then I can just build into Strength and brace for Teacher. But We'll see. If this character's luck is 6, then they're at the 3 below average. Yeah, so, I mean, if you're looking at the... Because for those who don't know, normally characters have about a 39... 39 is around the average stat spread for base characters, so that's the... If you are making a character, that's kind of the... That's the... What am I trying to say? The average that you're working for. So if your character has more, they are better stat-wise, usually. If they have less, they are worse stat-wise, on average. So this character does have 6 luck, but 11 rolls are a boon. So... yeah. But as we run into the dullness, then I guess our luck, you know, all that bad luck that we run into is forgiven. So let's just do this and wait for a moment. And then if you have lower stats, like, so for example, I think Moriko normally has lower stats, but she starts off with the old shotgun, which is an amazing weapon for perception. And then in this case, yes, the character might have lower, I think lower, yeah, 9, 12, 7, 19, 25, 31 stats total, which is, again, would be below average, but they start with the scalpel, which, again, pretty okay knowledge weapon if nothing else. And that saves you a lot of doom on Harbinger, not having to think about a weapon. Or RNG, look to RNG a weapon. Or pick up the Meat Cleaver from Vigil. Because at that point, you are still rolling on RNG. You know you're going to be starting with a weapon in this with this character. And it's an okay weapon that you can do this with. So... And then if you get damage increases, then it helps break thresholds because, yes, enemies that have about 16 to 20 HP, they will die quicker than if they did not. So yeah. And then obviously real life luck stat being a thing as well. But if we're looking at custom characters and their stats just on their own, yes, there is an average to work around. If you didn't know, it's 39. But luck, some of those stats weigh differently in my opinion. If you want to really get into the fine details, some stats I feel weigh a bit more, but in general, luck weighs a bit less just because it has... Objectively, you cannot die to your luck hitting 0 or below, as opposed to the other 5 stats. If you hit 0 in those stats, your doom gets set to 100, and therefore you quote-unquote die. Also, I forgot to grab things, but you know what? That's fine. So yeah, objectively at least, if you're really looking at what is fact and not being able to die to 0 statting on luck is a factor in that it weighs, quote-unquote, weighs less for characters. Also, did I not grab a thing? I did not improvise as much as I should have. I guess I guess this will be more a test of the character. That way we're not just looking at dullness, but you get what I mean. Luck, therefore, weighs less, so if you have 10 luck, it does matter still, but it doesn't matter as much as the other stats because, one, we also don't have a luck-based weapon. And I don't know if there are any other things. There are some things that Panstaz said uses luck in general and breaks away from rolls, but hey, you wouldn't rely on luck stat in the case. We have random weapon damage or range from 1 to 10 or something. Yeah, Panstaz made a weapon that scaled on luck. No, yeah, Panstaz is not going to do that. Just like how Panstaz is sticking by the fact that there will be no charisma weapons. That's something that Panstaz specifically said, but just to put things into context, no. For now, Panstaz is sticking by that decision. But in another way, he stuck by that decision while giving you a way to use charisma in battle, and that's through the use of ally attack. So, yeah. But in that case, yeah, luck providing some kind of boost isn't unheard of, but I highly doubt that's going to happen. As much as it would not be the worst idea, I mean, you would probably scale down the damage, all things considered, because while it is in the end RNG, the fact that you can scale off of, or that your damage can scale off of luck to a high amount, like if it's 10. I mean, I haven't read the complete proposal that you're proposing there, but yeah, 10 damage increase just randomly is... I would probably curb that by saying you would limit it based on the amount of luck you have. So if your luck is higher, then you get higher potential damage, maybe. Because it's not like you're building into luck explicitly most times anyway. That's why I don't mind it. But if it's like at 6, then you can get up to 6 damage. If even that much. Again, I'd have to crunch the numbers and I can think about it. Maybe look and make the weapon change, maybe change the range a little higher, but sound Sword of Nightmares to code it would be... Well, if you don't know what you're doing, or you don't have a lot of experience in coding and whatever game engine you are using, it can be a nightmare to code in and cause a lot of weird bugs that would not be great. That certainly wouldn't be high priority, but again, that is to each dev's own imperative to do. Also making sure that I can do the sensor really quickly. I might as well throw it on screen. It's not like we can look at this enemy and get something meaningful out of it. So we're going to preemptively put the sensor up and move on. And I'm getting a damage bonus here, but more importantly, we can brace into a teacher attack, which is... I can double attack here, but I just want to avoid badly bleeding. Like negative damage glitches or overflow damage. Yeah, something along those lines. Again, I wouldn't know how it would bug out, but I can see it happening. Basically, I think by now, every major update, and I'm not saying this as a negative thing, but every major update for World of Horror has introduced pretty serious bugs in some way that had to be smoothed out. If we're talking about, say, this public beta, then the fact that linked custom events can bug out, specifically if you didn't know. When you do a linked event into an enemy, that enemy just disappears, and you get a very base. The game's not working, basically. On top of anything else, we'll just take the 2-turn here. As interesting as it would be to handcuff this encounter, no. Oh, it's also Sensor Bunny. Sorry about that. I get carried away talking about something, so thankfully the Sensor Bunny doesn't usually block a lot of things, so it's not like you can't completely understand, but for obviously the viewing experience, it would behoove me to remove the bunny myself when needed. Also, I would have liked to visit the vending machines, but hey, when you have 7 or more in a stat, you just assume that maybe you can pass a check, and the answer to that question is no. But I guess we will use the handcuffs. But anywho, also yes, the forest is still going to be bugged here. I forgot. No, this is stamina and an injury, so this is just an injury. Now, that's not great, but we can deal with that later as long as we don't run into any other enemies. But here's hoping, right? In this case, I probably should have... Yeah, we could do this, but in the interest of our doom shooting up through the roof, no. Of all the events to be bugged, I'm not sure. I assume you're talking about how... If I were to take a guess, I would assume you're talking about how you're basically getting a few forest events back to back to back in 1.02 public beta. For those who don't know, if you're visiting the forest without any custom events or anything, just working with the base game, you are only going to run into like a few forest events, which means you're going to see the same forest events over and over and over and over. Which obviously does change the balance of the game. I'm going to heal... no, we're going to take strength. Forgot my second encounter, by the way, but let's see what happens. And let's grab this pack of cigarettes while we get a brick here. I could visit the monument. We're not going to do that. Place testing forest is not great. Yeah, multiple forest events that are affected. Okay, that too. If there's something else that I'm forgetting about, please let me know, because I am forgetting about it. But yeah, there should be only like a few events that you can run to the mansion, but basically not all the forest events are available that were available since the game's release in 1.02, and that is why we're in the public beta test. But anywho, I would like to use Mind Drain, by the way. That would be great, but we might as well use these cigarettes while we're here. And we roll a 12 on strength once more. But if I want to play it safe, I should rest here, but I'm going to be confident, and we'll see what happens. So what we are going to do is cast Mind Drain like 2 or 3 times. We should be at 9 max reason at the end of this. Or 8, sorry. But we can one-shot this encounter. In fact, I probably should have traded stamina here. In fact, I'm going to do that. So, reason for stamina, sorry. Before we do desperate, prep, strong. It doesn't need to be in this order, but you definitely need to do pray or meditate before the hit. But anywho. I said I was supposed to take care of an injury. I did not take care of the injury, but you know what? That's fine. We can use Expel Evil if it matters, but we'll see if it matters. We shouldn't be taking so much damage in the lighthouse, but we're gonna find out in a hot moment. So, I could have also grabbed the painkillers again, but we'll see. Second light, no Toxicon. So these cigarettes are not gonna do me any good, but I think we do have the 6th floor. We do, at the end there. So, 5 reason, and we should be okay. Yeah, we should be okay, actually. So up we go. But yeah, without the scalpel, our doom would definitely be a lot higher, or we definitely need to take, we would have needed to take steps to manage our doom a bit more, but since we start with the weapon, that's what I mean by this. Your stats can be a bit lower as long as they function well for the weapon. The balance is in your favor, in my opinion anyway. I think we actually ran to the donut. Never mind, I'm going crazy. Oh my goodness, I need to not do what I do here. Anywho. So I said I was going to put out a World of Horror video, and I completely forgot about that in the days that, you know, there were no World of Horror, or no World of Horror content, because the general rule for myself right now is to put out something on World of Horror every day, but that didn't work out, so hopefully I'll remember this coming from now on, at least until, you know, we slowly put her off. But that will happen around Halloween, I promise you that. But as we get into the Zektas run, yeah, just to end that off, let's just say, as we do... and Hounded Artist, that's the other perk back for this character, by the way. Zektas Medical History, character exclusive, custom character. But yeah, aside from other things... Yes, and you see a custom character there as well, but yeah, we definitely will be keeping a bit with World of Horror until around Halloween, which is when I may start put her off, but it'll depend on what content comes out for World of Horror. Strength, Dexterity, Second Mystery, Light, Toxicon, and Knowledge. But even then, if there's not enough content, yeah, I will slowly switch off. All things considered, by this time, I really should have already released something for my game. Again, the first game that I'll release will be completely free. You can donate if you want, but don't feel pressured to. It's just something I'm going to have fun with playing around here. But as we use Protective Carvings and Mind Drain and slowly get focused into the run, yeah, just know that among other games, my own game will be a feature of this channel. So as much as I was thinking about making a separate channel, I think we're just going to stick with this channel. Flood, Botanist, Footage, Arms, and Coma. We have Flood, we'll take that third. Footage, Botanist, I think? Yeah, Footage, Botanist. And away we go. As for Zektas, yeah, we have a lot of ZST to make up, but should be perfectly fine. Nothing impossible to work with. So if we get, say, Art Knowledge into a Perception increase into Quick Thinking and or Dexterity increase, theoretically we only need to hit level 3. Sounds counterproductive to create another channel, you don't know? Yeah, so that's part of the thing I've been mulling with in my mind, as we should probably use the police station really quickly here. What is here? What do we do here? Hold on, let me just think about this. Footage, Botanist, Flood. I don't even remember the other two. I guess we can switch them later. I don't really know, but we can do Mansion for now. But yeah, on the topic of another channel, it is usually recommended if you are making completely different content, obviously, but since the content will mainly be still video games, you might still want to split them up, like say you're doing reviews on one channel and you're doing Let's Plays on another. But in my case, since I'm not even that big, all things considered, then theoretically speaking, in my mind, I decided, yeah, I'm just going to stick with the same channel. Yeah, it'll split the audience community, which, again, is, if you think about it, it's supposed to benefit you so that you're not losing people on the same channel. But that's really only if you... How should I say it? If you stop doing one piece of content and do the other. Whereas splitting channels, again, if you are still making the same content for both, you aren't flooding notifications. But again, in my case, At this point, you're kind of here for me, I think, which is the good part here. But at the same time, as we increase perception here, which is very good. Again, if people are mainly coming for specific content, for in this case, say, if we're going to go to the extreme World of Horror, then I split my channel. One channel is for World of Horror specifically, and the other is for more generalized, like, or other games variety stuff. But you kind of understand where we're going here. It's something to think about, and sometimes you make the right choice and sometimes you don't. We're gonna go for a 72%, by the way. Also, I forgot to do a thing here, so let me do this. I did not hit, but we're gonna continue bracing because on average we're gonna take -2 reason anyway, unless we just miss both 72%. Then we kind of just sit here and cry for a moment. Okay, I guess we're just gonna do Mind Drain instead. And move on. That was unfortunate, but we have to. And we'll move on. So also, I still do variety games. I'm not only playing... Yeah, at this point, that's why I think... Usually for me... at least for me, sorry. I'm trying not to stick with just World of Horror. That was the whole intent. In fact, that was the case until I started playing World of Horror primarily. But that's because at that point, I was doing other things. But, hey... I just decided, hey... If I'm going to stick with this channel now that it's growing to the extent that it has, might as well stick with it, right? I also forgot to check. I know I have arms, I think, but I forgot to check the last mystery. We still have time to swerve, but hey. You think as long as the video is gaming related, then it'll work for my channel. Yeah, that's why I kind of decided, you know what, I'm just going to stick with it. What I should do, though, is I should probably find some other way. I don't know if it's going to be Patreon or whatnot. Not that I'm not trying to fleece money. The reason why I was thinking about making a Patreon is because I need some kind of archive in case my YouTube channel gets destroyed. Whether it's for a valid reason, but mainly if something really weird happens, like a robot decides to take down my channel due to 3 immediate strikes, then I need somewhere for my content to exist. To do it. And how it would work is that I'd make a Patreon page and I basically make a free tier so that if you want to support me there, you can. And then and in a way it would be more if you do for whatever reason want to support me monetarily, it would be more direct, but again, I would please not do that. I would probably just release 1 tier and we would be happy with what we get. But that's yeah, there are other ways to kind of store all my content and like make it available, but yeah, it's still in the works. I haven't really thought about it as much because I'm still busy doing other stuff. We need a Mind Drain once here, by the way. And then next turn, we're probably just going to Desperate Struggle anyway, but the important part was the Mind Drain for stuff. Also, I should be leveling up here. I don't know why I'm holding this level up, but, you know, it's because I'm busy talking about a thing. But you know what? Yeah, let's actually get Quick Thinking, and then we'll increase... we have Art Knowledge as well, but Quick Thinking is by far the better perk between the two. And off we go, and then we try... we reveal ourselves again. Hopefully we get out of this soon, because just been a bunch of forced investigations where we keep running into the same people. I mean, yeah, that's interesting, but it does change the balance of the game, because you know which events you're going to run into. It's hard to forget that you're always going to run to a certain character sweater. You're always going to run into the hunter, so you want either Dexterity or Charisma, and I think there's one more, but I think those are the main two. But as we enter Flood in a hot moment here, thankfully we haven't lost too much in our stats, but we do need to increase Knowledge as well. So we'll take Complete RNG and take Knowledge. I'm going to rush Experience here because we're taking Flood. Let me just see. Coma. So we have a lot of Downtown Hospital left, but we're also in Flood now, so let's do Flood things. The good news is we can throw a flashlight if we need to. The bad news is we're still probably taking a lot of damage, so it's going to be painful. I promise you that. Ah, goodness. So there's actually a strategy for World of Horror here. Oh, are you going to say something? Yeah. Well, I'll wait. A consistent one. Howdy again. Yes, hello there to anyone joining in. But yeah, let me know. It's probably something I've forgotten, all things considered, because the only consistent strat I know is to really just go for a weapon. But there are things I know I do differently from others, and that includes not using the vending machines. But again, Can't stay too long. Finals are on soon. Come on. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no. You can be in here for as long as you want. Also, keeping in mind, I completely forgot we're on medical history. But, you know, we can't handcuff anything, so let's do this. And off we go. Take out Outdoorsman 100% on the 1.02 when you have a lot of forced investigations. Oh, yeah, that is something that I completely forgot about. Because I know, on 1.02 anyway, obviously, but... Yeah, that's right. That would be correct, especially if you have botanist and footage. In fact, again, because I only allow myself to visit the TV twice, then if you have ill-fated and you see botanist and footage in your run and you're not re-rolling your mysteries for whatever reason, yeah, what you just said there makes sense. You level up, take Outdoorsman, and you do all your forced investigations. And I don't know if you get anything for doing the Moriko event, but you at least don't lose 2 reason. And I feel like we've talked about this before, but, you know. So at a certain point, after defeating this enemy, I really should just Mind Drain, all things considered. But since we're going to be topped off regardless, we'll just continue doing this. Oh, 10 experience, 10 experience. Okay, that's what you get. The only consistent strat which relies on really little RNG. Well, yeah, what you say essentially makes sense. You are... you have a higher chance of drastically reducing the damage you take in the run because, well, you're going to be running into that event a lot more often because of a bug, really. So, yeah, but also, yeah, true. So we're doing this mainly to get rid of some stamina because we'll be topping ourselves off on stamina anyway. But more importantly, our reason. So it's not like we have a thingy anyway, but I should have actually used that, all things considered, especially since I have Mind Drain, but we should be fine. The consistent play there would have been to use the thingy, the Seal of Bromel to increase our knowledge, but I've made my choice. So off we go into our second to last mystery. We'll take arms now. If we run into the boss, we have Mind Drain. If not, eh. So let's see here. We'll take the stamina damage and move on. Again, nothing really much happening. But if anything else, if you can stay here long enough to see the second character to some extent, that would be cool. If elsewise, again, usually I leave VODs available, and that will be that. Nice Twisted Corpse, by the way, but we can turn this encounter, so we'll just eat the damage. That way, if we are on Timeline B, we can Mind Drain and heal back that reason. -1 dexterity, but we should be... Oh, no, we're not. We're not, actually. We do want to get rid of that. So, first, though, we'll visit this so we can get rid of this while grabbing these painkillers. We didn't get a single good discharge summary out of that, but whatever. It's fine. But as we continued rolling poorly on events, yeah, I hope everyone's having fun. I know there are certain, let's just say, sports things happening now, but it's not something I often stay attuned to, so I won't say much about that because I'm not experienced in that, on those topics. But as we are in Timeline B here, we can eat this in the face once, and in fact, we do want to Desperate Prep Strong here as well, but the more important part is that we Mind Drain, probably 2 or 3 times, so let's do that. All things considered, I should be looking to do a brace play as well, but we're probably not going to be able to do that. So we're going to do this. 8 max reason, more than healthy, especially since we're getting a spell every mystery, and I think that was time skip. Yeah, time skip. So be it. It was going to happen anyway. We'll take experience to level up sooner, but into coma I go. And we're going to be losing 3 reason here. But if you have Takshisan, fine. You know what I did do, though, is I forgot my second encounter check. So, anywho. We can 2-shot this guy, and we have painkillers for him, so we'll hold off on the painkillers in case we get to like 3 stamina and do something amazing, but for now, let's move on. Charisma, Perception. Perception would be nice. Instead, we're going to do Arcane Grasp and then take Strength. Yeah, take Strength. Even if we have Takshisan waiting for us at the end here, also max threat level hospital, so let's actually do this really quickly. I could also opt to do this. That way, when I sell one of these flashlights here, I can visit the vending machine and grab a pack of cigarettes. Let's actually just sell that just to be safe. Yeah, that was safe. That way we still have funds, but off we go. You watch tennis yourself, and others are going to watch football or soccer in the case, yes. Obviously, in the US, we call it soccer, but I kind of understand if you're saying football, because most of my audience, I believe, are from, well, at least at this time, obviously, are European in residence, because, well, at this time, if for those who are not part of, who are not living around Europe, it's about, a good evening, I think, nighttime. Also, if we die here, I would be quite surprised, but let's find out. Well, that's going to be interesting. I think we can still get out here, but do I want to take a gamble is the decision, or the question. Never mind, it's guaranteed, so... In fact, we didn't even need to throw the brick. I just made a mistake, but you know what? Fine. Coughing, but... Let's continue onward here. Yeah, it's basically a good primetime evening to nighttime in Europe right now. As opposed to in America, it's probably around like 10 to noonish right now, which makes no sense elsewise. And then probably pretty late if you're in Asia, but it's fine. So strength, because we're probably just gonna fail every single thing. 9 stamina, 6 stamina because we don't have the 6th floor. We have a light source, thankfully, second mystery, and Takushi-san last, but we should still be able to survive here. We just have to rest once or twice. We're gonna get our stats reduced anyway, and we have Mind Drain still, so hey. American, yeah, so 7 PM is starting time for France, 5:30 in England. Yeah, so you understand what I mean here. The point is made. But also, this is the weekend, so theoretically speaking, you could be from anywhere around the world and be just fine. We did botanist second? Yeah. I often take footage first. Footage is just a matter of there are 11 possible forest investigations as opposed to botanist's 8. And when I say that, I remove the last investigation, which is normally the end of the mystery, so that's why I basically subtract 1 from the total amount of investigations needed. We're just going to do this, by the way. No reason to take any risks at all. So off we go. Missing a lot of reason at the end of the run, but hey, we can do it just fine. That being said, Mind Drain is a very, very, very powerful spell, at least in this current update 1.01 and 1.02. Sounds like they definitely had enough winning for one day. Oh yeah, talking about things. Let me see. So, on to the next character we go. So yeah, it is what it is, and we'll move on. Not much else to say, but I will still talk about the character gameplay-wise as we get to Ath, World of Horror, Custom Character. Running shoes and black hair is what we start with. Third eye is given to us by Ath, so yeah, we start with black hair and running shoes. Interesting to note that Ath gives you your bonus first, before your character's bonuses. Ow, my body. Knowledge, light, second, Takushi-san, and maybe charisma check. And we have 5 strength, 6 dexterity, 5 perception, 4 knowledge, and 5 charisma. Lower stat spread overall, but we have running shoes, which helps us run. Obviously, a big nothing on Katak, but you take what we can get. Actually, let's go hardware shop. And we'll see what else we can get. So yeah. That being said, yes, this stream might be only an hour to 90 minutes long. I want to go for at least 90 minutes, so we might repeat a character on a different god. Maybe do Katak on this character, just to see. But as we have Kana, Vigil, Flood, Scissors, and Painting, this is a lot of out of town. In fact, 4 out of town? Yeah, 4 out of town. So the only chance we get to use the... the only chance we get to use the police station is in Eels, but... We could take a free meat cleaver now. I'd rather still take Kana, so all things considered. We can also go for a chainsaw play, if I really want to. But we'll see. This character had a visual bug? Okay, well, let's find out then. But, yeah, let's see. Well, transitioning to the mystery scene. Visual, Flood, Scissors, Painting. So, a lot of sibling. Forest, man, we have a lot of mansion and forest. Possibly forest, but definitely more mansion and school, but we'll find out when we do Eels here. Good thing. So, max threat level downtown, max threat level school, so we'll do school for police patrols. But let's do a thing here. That being said, funny enough, this character has 0 CST, so it's really nice to play this character on the test, at least knowing we're not going to die to Doom, but your stats are still going to tank absolutely, so let's enter this and find out. Okay, just Monkey Wrench then. Let's store, I guess technically just the black hair, but we're going to grab the Monkey Wrench, so away we go. We do have Flood and Scissors, so our Doom is still going to be somewhat low overall, but we'll see. Never heard of that happening before? Huh. Maybe it was a stream thing you were doing? Maybe so. Again, because right now, from what I see, nothing so far, but we'll see. Also, RIP. But we have at least the doctor's office, which again, this is the only chance we're going to be in town, so hey. Also, we have the bandage, so we didn't even need to sell anything. But we can still grab the painkillers, that we can do. Now, Crazy went back to the stream when, yeah, the character is flashing strange? Huh. Huh. Again, from what I see, nothing currently weird happening, but again, if it's happening for one person, maybe there's some truth in it. But for now, again, I can't see anything on my end for the moment, but I guess we'll find out later. Anywho. As for, and maybe I'll see it when I go to the next mystery again. Yeah, I guess I'll see. I am wearing the second outfit right now, so maybe it's something with outfit A. But again, we'll see that when we go to the Zectast run, most likely. Otherwise, if there's any character you want to see me play and or subscribe and play from the workshop, please let me know now, because these runs seem to be going quite quickly. And normally, as I roll an 11 on dexterity here, normally let's visit the History Club once, by the way. Yeah, we don't have Akamanto, so that would actually be great. Yeah, let me know now if you want to see me play a character. But otherwise, pay attention when I enter the mystery selection screen. Alright, we'll see what happens. Oh, if you mean a certain... Yeah, if you mean the sprite on the mystery board, I'll take a look. But as we move on here... Ah, my neck! I need to check this. I'm seeing something, but I don't know if that's a thing. Yeah, it's not for now. I'll check that later, but this is me just speaking to myself. But as we save Kana and move on, not really a lot of boss mysteries specifically, but we have no more access to the town. That's the important part. We'll take experience here actually. So let's see here. Yeah, I don't really see anything going on for the moment, so it is what it is. We'll take Scissors, though, first, as we get back to the gameplay. And I'll see what happens. I don't want to do this yet, so we'll store that. You saw it? Huh. I don't know what it is, then. This is a problem with me in real life as well. I often don't see things immediately as we're on Timeline A. But, again, if it's happening, yeah, I assume that what you're seeing is correct, but I don't see anything, and yeah, not as many people. Yeah, we'll see. Anywho. Okay, because yeah, I also have my own stream pulled up for observation reasons and watching the stream health. So yeah, it does scare me whenever someone says, oh, something's wrong, and I quickly check. But again, I don't see anything for the moment, so all I can do is, I don't want to try fixing something if I don't know what it is, otherwise I could just end up breaking the stream even more. So yeah, I might actually want to go for the Cursed Scissors here. Do I? Yeah, we're gonna go for the Cursed Scissors here. Yeah, my bitrate does get wacky at times. Yes, that is true, because sometimes, well, right now I should be running near my optimal level, although I do know that things drop from time to time, because part of it is just my setup is not the most powerful. I am working with, I think, a 4-digit graphics card, but it's certainly not the most powerful. On top of just my setup in general. And I keep forgetting, it's kind of funny, whenever I get a new setup, whether that's a computer or a laptop, I always end up with 8 gigs of RAM when I should be pushing for 16 gigs of RAM in this day and age, but hey. Do I just run a roll on this? Well, if it's a character, yeah, you are talking to the author, by the way. The author is in chat. Or the creator, sorry. So, yeah, also I forgot to equip the Stalker's Mask, but I think I want to just do this instead. Anywho. Because the funny thing is, I should, well... Yeah, well, no, we're not streaming at a higher bitrate because my latency is currently on ultra low, so you are getting me quickly. But all things considered, I shouldn't even be on ultra low latency, so because it's not like you're really getting much out of it anyway. By the way, yeah, we're taking Flood next, so this is kind of fine for now. Yeah, well, this is still fine. So hopefully I hit both of these, that way I don't have to do much. Yeah, good. And now we can just do this. The Monkey Wrench, easy way for me to remember bonus damage here is Monkey Wrench is blunt, but you get the Wooden Bat, which is blunt, which gets bonus damage against the Scissor Lady. But anywho, let's level up quickly here. Premonition, yeah, that's pretty much useless. Haunting Dreams, and to Strength Increase. And away we go. Did I end up throwing the bottle of water? No. We can still increase it there, but we're taking experience because we're entering Flood now. You'll literally check now. Checks it twice now. Never saw it on the twice. Never saw it on the previous one. So are you on costume A or B, by the way? Because again, I'm on costume B of the character, attire B. So maybe it's a specifically a costume A thing. Also, when I looked through the files, I saw that the character was not using the same. I mean, not that it matters as long as because it's based on the bottom left pixel. But it is using a non-green background, which shouldn't really matter. But yeah. Am I going to be okay here, by the way? I guess we're going to find out. Also, I didn't equip the Cursed Scissors as I expected, but... Anywho. I think... Oh, Time Warper, by the way. I just did that to myself. Well, hey... Could have actually done a lot better here, but whoops. Also, probably should have wore the Cursed Scissors, yeah. Well, hey, we're gonna go for a dodge play, I guess. Because next turn we get out anyway. Can we even can't we just guarantee this, though? No. Yes. Yes. So, might as well go for this. And we did dodge, thankfully, so away we go. And offward we go. Yeah, I think I would rather equip the Cursed Scissors here. The Theologist is in the village, but I need to rest twice here for the sake of my HP, and then we'll move on. Yeah, again, I don't see anything wrong on my end, but hey. At least it's not crashing, that way we can say. Nice panic, by the way, but it's not like I could get prep attack with the Monkey Wrench anyway, so hey. 6 strength, good. And off we go. Trust me more, literally playing the game right now? Yeah. But again, when people report things, I often... Well, if I'm making a character, I often go, oh, what's going on? But again, I can only do what I do. Also, hey. So, do you see... Well, one, can you hear this bug? This is an audio thing. So... Again, this is specifically a bug that I've run into before. Not here, but I reported this bug on 1.02, where when you click something, you go into an encounter, but it still pops you out to the investigation screen. So if you can hear it right now, I'm currently in battle, because I can hear the battle BGM, but I am still on the screen. So what happens here is that both are happening simultaneously in my experience. Let's see if I'm correct about that, by the way. So, yeah, right now I'm actually in 2 encounters, and I might even be taking double damage. So if I'm doing this, I'm actually going through the motions right now. You can't see it, but I am going through the motions right now. So if I hit this, I'm fighting something in the background, but yeah. And theoretically speaking, to the game's perspective, I am in 2 battles, but I'm only fighting 1. But I am going to be fighting 2 in a bit, so... Yeah. Anywho, moving on. I think we defeated the villagers, right? So at this point... Yep, and here I am in battle again, although I would like to get rid of this bug. I guess we're gonna live with it for now. I don't know what specifically is causing this... Oh, I think what's causing this bug is our custom character events. While some creators' custom character events are working as intended for whatever reason, when I was testing things out, and obviously for this character, if this character does have character events, I believe they do, right? Then yeah, you run into the bug that I'm running into now, where you fight an encounter, but it pops you back to the screen. I think it's because the game is trying to specifically load a custom character or custom event, but it fails to do so or does something different for whatever reason. And yeah, instead, the game kind of bugs out, as you see right here. I think, theoretically speaking, the game thinks I'm still in battle, unless I defeated both, quote-unquote, both encounters at the same time. But you get what I mean here. It did cause a bug, and I think if the... Well, it doesn't matter, actually. If the character event has an event in the forest or not, I think it still causes this specific bug. So, yeah. So, can you link a video? Sure. You can link a video. Whether or not I'm going to be able to successfully troubleshoot anything, I'm sorry to say I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. But we can do what we do. But yeah, this is a very specific bug to 1.02. This will not be happening on 1.01 right now. Because, again, I wonder if this is related to linked events as well. I wouldn't be surprised, but maybe not as well. It might be something very, something different compared to linked events in general. Because this is a character event bug and not, again, what I'm talking about here. Anywho. We'll move on. Again, we might run into it again, just because, again, as I've tested for myself, that's how I'm telling you right now, based on word of mouth, that when I was making custom character events, because I was like, oh, I'm interested in actually, you know, working with custom character events and using them with characters, I ran into the said bugs, so that you saw earlier. But again, if you see it again, I will be happy to show. Also, I have yet to equip that. I don't know why. But we'll move on. Oh, is that what you meant? If that's what you meant, then yes. It sounded like you were talking about the character sprite going crazy. But yes, if you're talking about the event that the bug that I just ran into and that is being reported in chat, that is what we were talking about. So a slight misunderstanding. But yeah, I can actually try to pull this up elsewhere, but while playing the game. So touch the stone, 6 dexterity, moving on. Let's do this. Burn the envelope just to save on Doom. Our Doom is looking quite good, but just to be completely safe. We can do this, right? Is there a reason I'm so fast, or is that just the cursed scissors being cool? 90 speed. I mean, yeah, I can only do 2 attack boosts, but it's interesting to look at here. Because I only have 4 knowledge. This character doesn't have high stats overall, but I find it interesting that a thing is happening. Hold on. But yeah, we might as well take the 2-turn if we can see it. And we'll see what happens. Oh, I'll keep a lookout for that then. I'll keep a lookout for that. Oh, that might be... If I'm based on what I'm seeing on screen, I'll take a look at myself. I think I'll see here. That does happen for some characters. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember exactly. So let me take a look really quickly. I think I know what you're talking about though, and that might be because of the. Well, it will happen at times because of the resolution of a player's game window. I'm not saying that your resolution is that much different, but yeah. So I see what you mean. Yeah. That is part of the dithering that happens when the character moves across the screen. So that's a very minor visual bug. I can see why it looks wrong though. But I feel that's more a player preference thing, or not player preference, but a thing. So I think that's mainly because right now I'm on ×2 resolution, and so the game is trying to scale it properly. Because obviously, if your game window is bigger than what the game intends, obviously, which is what I'm at right now, I'm on ×2. Then the game has to stretch the character sprite so that it it matches with the increased resolution of the screen. And so therefore it causes some visual bugs like that when it moves across. I think, personally, I think that's what goes going. Yeah, it's not like, and then again, that happens with other characters as well. So it just might not happen elsewhere because most characters don't have dithering on that part that you can see as you transition in. But as the character moves across the screen, yeah, that can happen. I don't know why exactly it's happening. This is just my guess. What I just said was just my guess, but also we have running shoes, so let's finally use it in an encounter where it matters. I think that character that you're talking about doesn't have dithering there, and if they do, then I'm curious. Again, it could be a whole host of things, actually, so yeah. Because, yeah, if you notice right here, just speaking really quickly for about 15-20 seconds, this is what we mean by dithering. It's literally a small checkered pattern, not normally, sorry, but oftentimes in World of Horror, there's a specific dithering pattern. One popular one that at least I like to use is the checkerboard, 1-pixel checkerboard, which can result in, yeah, flickering, as you see there, where it results in flickering. But again, often you don't see it because it takes a very specific set of things. Like, right now you don't see it here as we're just standing here, sitting here, because obviously the sprite is not moving. But in the mystery board where the character moves into the screen, or moves on the screen, then you'll see it a lot more often because, well, the game has to kind of, not interpolate, there's a word for it, but move across the screen. The moving across the screen basically results in that. Just how it would be in other games as well. Where, you might get some visual glitches from movement on screen, but if we're talking specifically pixel games like World of Horror, that. But yeah. Again, it depends on the creator and player. You will notice it a lot more if your eyes are kind of attuned to that kind of, seeing it. I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't see it. So, and it's not something I normally notice because it's like at least on a dimmed out background as they're moving into the mystery screen, so it doesn't hurt my eyes as much, if any at all. But I can see why for some players it's something that you would notice and you're like, oh, I wonder what that is. That's what it is. Yeah, and then obviously the creators are not in charge of the game, breaking up the sprite. I believe the creator when they say that, they made the sprite correctly. But there is also some jank. So for example, that's why we also don't make character sprites that move out, because theoretically your character can encompass this whole part of the screen, but if you go over this part, then the mystery board will actually overlap over your character, which obviously is quite jarring to see. So that's why, again, the game itself was just doing a thing. Yeah, that's more on the game design itself rather than the creators. And again, I've done the same thing. Like, for example, another example, we might as well talk about it quickly while we're here, is that, making your character so they don't cover this button, because your character's sprite here can cover this button, and so if you're trying to account for that, you can either add the button itself, which can seem odd as well, because then that means you're seeing this button move, but that's part of the character sprite, or you have to cut out your character enough so that you can see this button, because while you can still click it over the character sprite, but it'll cover it. So yeah, you essentially, yes, you get. There are other small details too, like sometimes early on I was making this mistake where if your character sprite is too large on the bottom left, they will poke out right here. I think by now we have templates in the Discord server from the community that account for this, but for the most part, things like covering the stats, so on and so forth, but that's more on, yes, the game's creation rather than the individual creators of custom characters and events and mysteries. But yeah, knowledge, light, second, I completely forgot my second encounter, by the way. But we'll move on. We should be fine here. If we somehow die, I would be quite surprised, but we'll rest twice just to be sure before we move on. But yes, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is you can work around it. It is kind of annoying for just creating characters in general, but if you want to look at it another way, not that I think a majority of people would not see it this way, but it's having fun. It's a challenging, presents a challenge while you're making a character, because you're working with limitations, but at the same time, yes, it's not great. Loaded teacher? Yes. I guess based on Scissors being my second mystery and knowing what I ran into. But in the meanwhile, so yeah, a common mistake if you've never made a custom character before is that you make a custom character too big, and yes, they are covering your stats and or HP. So I'm shrugging real life. Not much more to say on that. So we can even throw the monkey wrench, and yeah, Takashi-san goes down in 1. But for the most part, yes, I know part of this run was actually the cursed scissors, but there are runs where you will be using running shoes a lot more, and the black hair is a nice pick for mansion runs where you could just get the sewing kit. But as they move into a Zictast run, we are definitely going to run into something a bit different. We'll randomize the item stats and set a custom backstory. But as we get Fatalist Zictast character exclusive random item stats custom character, we'll see if the running shoes turns out well for us, because again, even though yes, Doom is increasing when you run, the fact that you're using less Doom when you run does help on Zictast. Light, Strength, Charisma, second encounter, Takashi-san, second mystery, but ultimately about 5 reason, 3 stamina. Definitely 3 stamina, because there's no way we are getting our stats up to 8. It is not happening. Even if you're a character with 8 in every stat, now if you have higher stats, sure, but other than that, it's gonna be a bit hard. So we're gonna take a gamble here. And we are going to do a legal den. And if luck doesn't turn out well for us, well, we'll find out, won't we? So we have Botanist and Metamorphosis. Also, I need to do a thing here just to make sure that things are okay. Oh my goodness. Things. But yeah, let me just do a thing. Okay, let me just do a thing. Let me take care of something because dogs are doing things! Ah! Yeah, no, this time dogs are being naughty, so I actually have to yell loud and make them not do what they're doing. Botanist, by the way, yeah, so I think we're just gonna take a complete gamble, by the way. Basically, I went, no! Hey, dogs, no! And they kind of know. Sometimes I have to growl, which doesn't sound as nice, but again, it's my way of, so I go, no! Or something like that. And they immediately understand. They've been trained in that regard. When they know they're doing something bad, they immediately stop. But if they're allowed too much freedom as we get a Zictast Dexterity event. Pain. Also, we're on Nakamoto, and we don't have a single weapon. So we're going to History Club once here and get nothing. And then we're going to treat twice and cross our fingers that the curses don't absolutely destroy us. Now, at this point, with Blood Frenzy, we might have wanted to get a quick weapon. That's not going to happen, because all we have is a legal den. But we'll make do with what we get. Unless it is a hunting rifle, then we have to do this. Well, I guess we just toss this to the ground. So this is less the character and more me. Not every character can start with a weapon, so I don't feel that as a fair piece of criticism. That being said, though, my RNG, on the other hand, priceless. Wow, we didn't get a single thing. We need to reroll here. Ow, my hand, I hit my microphone. We need to grab a thing. So, what's our random item set? We're gonna have to live with this. 4 damage, 90 speed, 65 chance to hit. That's pretty normal. Unfortunately, yeah, it's not the best either, but we'll make do with what we got. Oh, we also have to visit the thingy-majiggy. We have Metamorphosis, so Seaside Police Patrols. But more importantly, handcuffs for Akamanto. Human! But then we'll move on. We have 8 Dexterity, and we still failed, because game. Shrug! All I can do is shrug. I can't explain myself any further than this. We know the deal here. So 3 perception, but can you give me strength at least? Can you give me that? Because we're missing stamina and we will not be able to handle the damage, if even that much. So especially since we're on Blood Frenzy, so yeah, I don't think we have enough here. This is 14 damage. I think we're okay. Yeah. Blood Frenzy plus Meat Cleaver bonus damage, thankfully. So there, blood frenzy worked. Or did we get rid of it? Yeah, blood frenzy worked in my favor because we did the thing. Now, if we get rid of it, though, we are still taking damage. So, if we actually want to profit off of it, we need to use it a few more times. But I think you understand what I'm trying to say at this point. We're gonna take another win. Household Hell. We'll do the best with what we've got. I would light the candles, but no. Restful and Mass, we will get to level up. I don't know. Let's see, we have Morbid Inspiration and something else. I completely, well, for some reason I completely forgot this character's perks, by the way. Either way, it's not like, I know we don't have Fast Swimmer and or Adrenaline and or Core. Actually, no, Adrenaline is not part of any perk packs at the moment. Essentially, we don't have any of the 3 God perks, also flashbacks, but we're not using a dexterity weapon anyway, so you know what? Fine. All things considered, our Doom here is quite okay, but as we run into Room of Ghost, we'll take 3 Doom and move on. I don't think we have stealth either, but you know what? Running shoes on its own already providing value. We might as well equip this, move on with life, and we'll see what happens. I need to do this, by the way. Okay, good. Threat level increased, by the way, so here comes the penalty damage. Unless we get out. Premonition, Stars, alright, Morbid Inspiration, Haunted Dreams, yeah. So, all I remember is that the perks, objectively, are not going to be helpful for Zectast on average. Although Morbid Inspiration and Haunting Dreams are still okay perks, they're just not specifically going to counter Zectast at any rate. But because we're losing a lot of reason, we'll take that, because at least we can level up more. They indirectly help because Morbid Inspiration, if you do lose a lot of reason, you get a pool of experience. So, and that helps you level up to increase your stats. But again, the character doesn't even have any ZST to make up, so it's more gonna be helpful for encounters like this. Do I just want to eat this in the face, by the way? Actually, I know what my last mystery is. It's Ward, because we have the hospital pass. But anywho, it would be nice to not just eat damage in the face, but that's not what happened. So we're going to just brace into a Desperate Prep Strong. We got 14 damage there, but we couldn't have Desperate Action until that moment. Do I want to just die here? No. So we're going to go into this and grab painkillers. I was going to say a jar, but that doesn't make any sense. What's the word I'm looking for? Anywho. We still do want to rest here, because even though we have fetid fumes, we need probably even more stamina than this, but we're going to find out, aren't we? That was unfortunate. But we have some investigations left to make up for that. Now, we need a lot more HP to make up for this, but for the moment, I think we're still okay. Our last mystery, I think, is a seaside investigation, so as we look for a sewing kit here, that would be nice, because this character starts with black hair, so let's finally use it. Hiya! That way we don't have to rest. For 9 Doom. That's quite a lot to save, but that's also because of fetid fumes. If we get out of funds, we'll trade off reason, but for now, let's fight the meat horror, and we'll see. I'll never test it, but do you have to make a strife when you unequip the mask? No, you don't. There is no faceless graphic at the moment. Surprising to say. That being said, I probably should have gotten rid of Blood Frenzy, but if I did, we would have 3 stamina, which is arguably worse, so nonetheless, I think this is the best we get. Yeah, either way, we're taking a lot of damage. So the character just has a normal face? Yeah. As odd as it is to say, yes. I don't think there's any way out here. We might as well spend this first turn trying to deal damage. We do. We might even need to throw stuff. But that is... So we are doing 14 damage here. If we throw the Demon Mask... Oh, wait, no. Do we lose the damage when we throw the Demon Mask? I guess we're going to stick with kicks then for the rest of the run. I could do some science here, but I don't want to. That's a question I can ask another day. Otherwise, I can go for a dog. Can I go for anything else? Yes, but it's not guaranteed. So what I can go for is this, while trading 2 reason for 1 stamina. And the bug should not affect me here for whatever reason. But I missed the kick, so... Instead, what we're gonna do... Oh, we can't even do this. No, it's not worth it. I guess we're gonna do some science. Or I could do this, so... Yeah. We did 3 damage, but I think we still needed to throw the mask. So, away we go. I think that returns our max stamina, unlike other effects, but... We're in pain here, so let's find out if we even survive. Again, we know we have Ward, but we'll take Botanist first in the interest of no roads closed shenanigans. That being said, I forgot my second encounter again, but hey. Not really, yes. Haunting Dreams. Extra reason, but funny enough, we're missing stamina right now. So we'll actually heal stamina. Because we could run, well, either way, either we run into a sweater and we lose 2 reason in the forest, or we run into hunters and lose stamina. Or just injuries, but knowing that, I actually should have traded Doom there. That was a mistake, but we'll move on. Also, this is footage. I don't know why I just did what I did, but we might die here. No, this is Botanist. I'm going crazy. We need to roll well, is what I'm trying to say, and we have 9 luck, so... Is that real? 9 luck? Or am I seeing things? Anywho. This is quite unfortunate. We have running shoes, though, so bye. That's fine. Again, we're actually very, very good on Doom right now, but I'd rather just take an injury to the face than risk a thing. Now, we can't keep taking injuries, but we don't really have much of a choice. So yeah, that event, the hunters, and the sweater. But thankfully we rolled a 1 once. Now, we need to get out of this mystery, but we can do our best. Run again. Nope, this time a dislocated shoulder, but we were already wearing the demon mask before. Extra max reason here will not hurt me. And funny enough, being lost here might actually be better for me. And yeah, we can't fight this either, so running shoes paying off. Otherwise we'd have about 67 Doom, 69 even, so... And in Ward, we can run away as well, but as our Doom continues to shoot up through the roof, yeah. If our last mystery isn't Ward and we have a hospital pass, then I've learned something today. But, at least for 1.02 public beta. But otherwise... So just letting you know, if anyone needs to run off anywhere right after this run, then feel free to do so. I just appreciate you supporting me because I think... Because after this run, I think we are just going to Zatsudon till the end. I'm not going to try to rush another character, so... Unless anyone has any suggestions, like a Katak run with this character, but otherwise, we'll move on. Pretty sure you can't get the pass if you don't have Ward. Yeah, but I'm saying some weird... fatalist thing, because I don't know how the game is programmed for sure, but certainly my suspicions were that each mystery is already set in stone, so therefore if Ward is there, Hospital Pass must be there. I'm just saying, like, if there's some weird thing happening in the game where on Fatalist, you can still get it. But for the most part, yeah, from what I've experienced as well, if you see the Hospital Pass in the illegal den, and you don't see Ward immediately as one of the 2 you can identify on the board, then you probably have Ward as one of the 3 mysteries. Also, we're just going to keep using running shoes. We really can't fight anything, knowing that we're going to take damage in the lighthouse, so... Here's hoping I remember my second encounter at some point. I probably don't, but... We'll see. Yeah, there's no way we're fighting this. We can probably... Again, if I remembered my lighthouse entirely, we would probably be in a better spot, but... As our... Oh, that's right. Our knowledge hits 0. Sorry about that. Where was that from? Oh, I think I zero-statted right at the end here. Really? I should have increased my knowledge, but hey, I forgot about that. Was there knowledge? Yeah, does the character start with 4 knowledge on Harbinger? If that was the case, yes, I should have increased knowledge by 1. Otherwise, pain. How did that happen, though? I'm trying to think. That happened at the very end, right? Yeah, I did. Because I ran from the boss at 83% Doom, and the 4th tick happens on 84% Doom. Yeah, so I should have increased my knowledge, which I would have been able to do, but not in time, because, yeah. I should have done it earlier. That was on me, but... All things considered, theoretically speaking, so we had 88% Doom. Oh yeah, we definitely could have survived. We have 9 stamina now. And we're only losing up to 5 reason and 3 stamina. And we don't have this 6th floor, so our Doom would have increased by up to 93%. We have Takushi-san, he smacks us, maybe, but assumably we 2-shot Takushi-san, and we passed the second mystery check, so all things considered, we should have survived. But this is definitely a survivable run. I just made the mistake that I did, because it's not like refunding 1 knowledge here will decrease the Doom back. So, without further ado, I mean, we will enter this lighthouse immediately, because we will end up dying immediately. So, yeah, without further ado, that was a human error mistake. But yeah, without further ado, I mean, if anyone has any requests as I speak for the next 5 to 10 minutes at least, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, just gonna talk about what's going on because it is Sunday and we are moving into the week. So Wednesday is probably gonna be either Regeneration or Slay the Spire, but we'll see what happens. I'm seeing dogs go wild because they're seeing someone else, but yeah, definitely still gonna do Harbinger Horror. I'm probably not gonna do a video today because we did our World of Horror quota for today, but if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I know that, you know, for the sake of the channel, there isn't much point to doing another video later in the day usually, but we'll see. Attack with the player, sure thing. But we're going to be kind of autopiloting. But yeah, the rest of this week is going to be also... So the ideal is that we're going to be putting out Harbinger Horror, or I'm going to be putting out Harbinger Horror during the week. There's no one else working with me. I'm in charge of recording, editing, rendering, and uploading the videos, but we'll set custom backstory and Katak, because basically a harder challenge, because we can't use running shoes. Katak, Kira's Birthmark, character exclusive random item stats. But yeah, each day should be a Harbinger Horror and a Princess Maker 2 Regeneration video. And if anything else happens, something else happens if I add anything else, but otherwise back to game dev and other stuff. I haven't really been doing game dev because this whole week, although I'm going to be quite busy doing other things in real life as well, as I figured out. Real life is real life, so I have to do things that come out, but yeah, I'm going to be busy this week anyway. Second, Mystery, Charisma, Dexterity, Strength, maybe every single stat check, but also Takushi-san at the end. No second encounter, but it would be nice for me to remember just out of being me. But yeah, without further ado, Library Notes, well, we get Mind Drain. Okay, well, that was just RNG, but let's pretend for a moment we don't have Mind Drain and see what we can do. So we'll equip back the kimono. You were thinking about regeneration until you saw the mixed reviews on Steam, getting regeneration. Yeah, that's a thing. In my opinion, I still recommend it if you're completely new to the series and you want... or I put a review on Steam, basically. So if you're interested in my thoughts on it, my review is on Steam right now. Botanist, Metamorphosis, Flood, Festival, and Arms. But yeah, it depends on what you want. As someone thinking... Like, if I were not making any videos or streams, I might be... I might not have gotten it myself, but I still would have wanted to get it. If I had the money, I would get it. Botanist, Metamorphosis, Flood, Festival, Arms. I guess we'll do Arms now. We'll risk the roads closed here. But basically, what I'm trying to say is if I had all the time and resource luxury in the world, enough to be confident, and I want to get back into Princess Maker, I would get Regeneration, because if for nothing else, it is a very accurate and close representation of what we should have gotten in terms of English translation for Refine. But if you are concentrated on more just the gameplay in general and just getting the experience out of the way, sure. But it's not a remake and it's not a remaster, it's a regeneration. Again, kind of to go over to the points I made in my review, but yeah, if you're interested, please read my review. It's a long one, but that's why I put the summary in case you don't have a lot of time. And then otherwise there are like, I think 4 or 5 more paragraphs. But yeah, Refine and Regeneration do have their differences. Aside from what people assume. Also, I didn't get a weapon yet. Whoops. We'll do that now. Yeah, so overall, unfortunately, things might not go well. The reason why I really want to support this Princess Maker, or Regeneration at least, a big reason, sorry, is because, again, it sets a precedent for translating the rest, and if this doesn't do well, they're not going to translate the rest. We're just going to stick with the English translations that we have. For anyone, and again, that hurts Princess Maker as a whole, because, well, especially with Princess Maker 6 coming out, that might be another case of the Japanese version comes out and we're waiting years for the English version to come out. Maybe. Again, I don't know for sure. I don't know what's happening behind the scenes, but it is something that can happen. Also, I'm clicking on downtown and I can't go anywhere else. So, whoops. I think we just ran into the character event bug again, but we'll see. At Guns, obviously people had Revine being mad that regeneration has nothing new. Yeah, that's the thing. And said though, but again, their criticisms are valid, especially the ones that talk about the technical issues. But again, that's not on the localization team. Let's just be very base about this because I keep skipping steps when I'm talking about this stuff. But what I'm trying to say is that the localization team and the translation has had no part in the actual making sure that the game runs properly. So any textual bugs were reported by at least the English localization team, but they were not rolled out as part of the final release. So again, if we are to assume that what they're saying is true, and I believe them, so there was some communication going on that was not reached, that the game came out in its state, and it came out in its state. On top of just, things like full screen not being really much different from window to screen, the game being very bare bones in terms of its modern characteristics, like the gallery mode, like not allowing us to just look at the pictures of the endings, and when you click on the ending pictures, instead you just get the ending in whole. And the price tag, again, for some people, I don't like it, but I see why they did it. But at the same time, I wouldn't have expected them to go with the same price as Refine. However, I didn't expect them to go $40 USD. So that is that. Also, I think we might die here. We do have Mind Drain. I guess we're going to Mind Drain once. Or we're going to attack once and Mind Drain the rest. So in the interest of playing more of this character, we're going to do this. So while this is not an accurate representation of the character themselves, for the purpose of surviving, yeah. In this day and age, don't respect price gouging, period. Already discussed that enough to, yeah. But then, yeah, for those who don't know, regeneration is $40 USD, both on Switch and on Steam. And gods forbid if it's that much on the PlayStation Store, because the PlayStation version is coming out way later, in early August, because it is removing some parts of the game actively. But, yeah, that's $40 for a game that actually has things gouged out of it gameplay-wise. And while, yeah, in terms of, whether or not it's suitable for the audience or the not publisher, but whoever's in charge of making sure that content gets removed, just know that it's very likely at this point that that game sees even less sales, especially since, again, it's kind of a two-part process here, where one, if the game came out and it was okay, then there would be no problems. But because the game came out with mixed reviews on Steam, sometimes mostly negative as how Steam reports it, then that means when people have a PlayStation 5 and then look at the reviews and go, ooh, they may or may not, or they're more likely not going to buy the game because of it. And because this is just me knowing out. As much as some people might go, or some people might go, well, Jordan, the game is still good anyway. I don't agree with what you're saying. The fact of the matter is, people see mixed or mostly negative reviews, and they immediately make a decision. And I attribute part of that because of how, in these times, people just want to know the information now, and they're not going to look any deeper. And you can't, in my experience, you can't expect, or you shouldn't expect people to take a, deep dive into doing a lot of research for your game. So in this case, basically, first impressions are a thing. That's the long and short of it. Or that's the short of it. But not apparently the long of it. You have little to no knowledge on Refine, so take my word for it. Know as much as no regen is only a graphical upgrade. Yeah, most of it is a graphical upgrade. The biggest change gameplay-wise, in my opinion, is the fact that you can see the stats, but that's more a quality of life. Because theoretically speaking, you can basically make a mental note or take notes on your daughter's stats, and then just remember where it is based on any changes that happen when you cannot see your stats. But, again, if you're short on money, I can't in good faith say, oh yeah, get regeneration immediately. But it is on sale right now for the moment, $10, 10% off. And I would assume if you're looking for a bigger cut or sale later on, it's not going to happen for another at least 6 months minimum, but I say a year or two. On Steam anyway. And then obviously Switch is Switch prices, so you may never see a sale there at all. But yeah. We'll see though. again, it might take a year or two before the price starts to dip, but again, that's going to be a while. And that's all I can really say on that front. If I had to guess, though, I don't know for sure, but I do feel quite confident. Based on the trends that I see, especially for games as... While it's not completely niche... we can ask the question right now. Steam DB, Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, as I try not to die here. I think I can Desperate Prep Strong. Well, let this rock as I check this. 36 players in-game right now, and the high peak, or normal peak, is normally, I think, 100 and something. Like 100, low, yeah, 138 all-time peak 3 days ago. But yeah. But just to summarize what I said, if you don't want to look at my review at all, because I don't want to waste your time, essentially, if you've never played Princess Maker before, and you want to get into a Princess Maker, most people get into Princess Maker 2. And if you want to understand what's going on, a good understanding of what's going on in English, then play Regeneration, and you have the money to put down. But if you wanted just a taste of the game itself in general, and or you are worried about money for whatever reason, then buy Refine. Especially when it's on sale, because Refine is $20 USD right now, but when it goes on sale, it often hits $10 USD. So, I'm struggling in real life. That's all I can really say for myself. No, wait, we're on attack. We can't run, so we just tank this damage to the face. You've seen Regen's visuals and they don't impress you. Pixels are cleaner. Yeah, so there are definitely places, but there are nitpicks here and there. I specifically say in my review. I guess we might as well go over it. I'm talking about it right now. But there are things such as this reason, right? Yeah. So Refine currently has, because I play both games, obviously, to some extent. I want to 100% Refine, but Refine has a setting called No Wait. So gameplay-wise, if you want to quickly do runs of Princess Maker Refine, or Princess Maker 2 in general, you want to play Refine, because the runs are going to be quicker because you have no wait on animations. So everything speeds through for the most part. Whereas in Regeneration, it's a slower experience because there is a no wait. There are no wait options, and as we're pretty much going to die here, I think I didn't heal stamina, so here's hoping. So you can increase the text speed, but that doesn't overall affect the animations. So you're sitting there watching the animations in battle, or when your daughter is training or studying, you have to sit there and watch the animations play out. So it is a slower experience in that regard. But again, if you want to understand what's going on, because the main negative to Refine as of right now, because Regeneration is out, I want to repeat that, is that the names of the, names here and there in Refine, the overall translation of the story and whatnot, while you can get a gist of what's going on, it's not accurate. And I know that Regeneration is more accurate. But again, if you're focused more on gameplay, I understand why players stick to or choose Refine over Regeneration. So, as you understand, it's about take away some cause light, playing dumb, yeah, very dumb mood on there, but yeah. But again, I think I'm not saying that it validates the reason, but I believe the reason why that no wait no longer exists is because I forgot what. I was trying to look around to see what Refine's game engine was, but I'm pretty sure that Regeneration was made in Unity. So there is some quality in life in that you actually have Steam Cloud saves for Regeneration, because Refine does not have that, if I recall correctly. It uses a different save structure in your files. And also, there's something else I was going to say. I forgot, though. But yeah, because it's made in Unity, I assume they, whoever was making the decisions or doing things decided not to, implement basically a faster gameplay option. So again, I'm struggling again in real life, as I say. It wasn't in there. So maybe they were working with time limitation, and they couldn't bring back the quality of life things that were in Refine in Regeneration for whatever reason. But I think a large part of that is because they moved from a different game engine to Unity, because Refine was made back in early 2000s, so you have to keep that in mind, that trying to replicate the same gameplay features in Refine was probably not something that they ended up being able to do in Regeneration. Now, overall, for the player's experience, I think you should figure that out, but you just have to take it in the face when you realize, yeah, you didn't do that for regeneration, even though it exists in Refine. So on that point, yes, the customer is correct. So I'm trying to sell so bad. Again, a big part of me is that knowing that this fails as we get a cut artery here is a thing. Again, if nothing else, I'm explaining the possible reasons, but I understand that that's not going to sell the game more. It does sound like I'm selling the game, but I'm trying to say it in a way that, yeah, these are the possible reasons why, but they're not going to help the matters any. As we get traumatized here. But we'll do our best. All we can really do is just trade blows. We have Mind Drain, but let's pretend for a moment we don't. Even though I'm going to cast it once here. So the Volcano Princess, yeah. How much is Volcano Princess right now? I keep forgetting. I can check. Because I'm also interested on the price when it goes on sale. I think I actually got it when I was on sale, but out of curiosity. Among with other games, yeah, 700, about 700 people playing Volcano Princess right now. Usually at a 24-hour peak, 2,000 players. All-time peak 15 months ago, 31,000 players. But, let me check a thing, because I'm interested right now. Hold on. We'll keep moving on, but I'm interested for the moment. We might actually still survive this run, funny enough. The thing, price history. So normally it is $11 USD. Let me see, did its price ever reduce? No. But on sale, it's 10% off for about $9.50 USD. And Volcano, yeah, in general, again, I want to attribute a lot of Volcano Princess' success to being a more, obviously a game that came out later, so it can learn from the mistakes of its predecessors, like Princess Maker 2 Refine. But, yeah, overall, I think Volcano Princess is a good game as well. It's definitely a good game. I would recommend that. But let me see here. Yeah, really nothing here, so let's just take something. It doesn't really matter what we take here. But I think we survived no matter what. I don't remember my second encounter at all, so that's just on me, but we can climb up this lighthouse. But yeah. As it turns out, as I take Metamorphosis was second. Yeah, as it turns out, when you come out later, you have a better chance of making a game that's more polished, I guess, in terms of overallness than your predecessors. But again, that's no excuse. I understand, because a lot of people's expectations for regeneration, or people's hopes for regeneration, was that it was a big improvement, and it's just not there. Again, in my review, I said that the technical difficulties could turn you away. So if they do, I understand that in total. And not much else to say. But yeah, if you're looking for, translation-wise, regeneration wins. Gameplay, technical-wise, Refine can win out, but it depends on what you're looking for, really. So, but then yeah, I've said what I said. I think if you're playing either or, I guess in a way, if you look at it, I don't know why I'm doing this, because this should be near end of stream, but in a way, if you get Refine, you're still supporting the game. So maybe if whoever's in charge looks at it that way, they're like, oh yeah, there's a point to be. Again, I'm just concerned for the health of Princess Maker in terms of English localization, because no matter what, like, Princess Maker 6 is still being worked on. The question is if it gets an English release on top of that. But the flip side of that is if whoever is in charge, or whoever is responsible, is looking at regeneration in terms of whether or not to decide if English localization is worth it. Because again, it starts at small steps. I say if you can support it, please do. But again, I can't force you to make a decision. So yes, for the most part, I am trying to sell regeneration as well. I'm trying to sell the game, but at the same time, it's because I know overall the whole picture of what the stakes are. Because this isn't just a Princess Maker thing. This also, is one of the many examples we throw into the mix in terms of, okay, do Japanese creators of video games or developers want to think about localizing their games elsewhere in the West? And yeah, when you're given more examples, this is going to be one of those examples where I want the story, at least when I'm not trying to sell the game, the overall opinion I'm trying to throw out there is that there is an interest English-wise. Now, whether or not that's going to present a profit on the business side of things, completely different story. But there is an interest to play Japanese games. It's just that they're not translated to English. And this is just one of those examples that I want Regeneration to be, we do, there is an interest there, but we need to polish out the game in the technical sense. And again, I do talk about these things in my review. I talk about, full screen, window screen resolution thing, where that is a pet peeve. The flashing white when you're fighting in battle, where it's pretty much non-existent in Refine because you can set to the animation speed a lot faster. The speed of the introduction and the endings going too fast for people to read in general. Those are the biggest technical issues, on top of just if you're going more for what players expected, they expected kind of more polish in the gameplay in terms of, things to change aside from just graphical changes or updates to CGs and character sprites or character images. But, at that point, I can't really say much else to persuade you one way or the other. But yeah, you would buy Princess Mega's modern, cute looking. Well, the thing is, as it is right now, if I had to put money down, I don't think it's going to get a close English release at all. So, I mean, we literally just said it, and it's observable now. The reviews are still, I think, mixed at the moment. But if nothing else, if you're watching right now, not really talking, this is just the Zatsudan part of the stream, so thank you for watching. But otherwise, if you're interested in what I'm talking about in general on this channel, yeah, reviews are still mixed. 71 reviews, half and half. At a time, it was mostly negative, but we'll see if it stays that way. Again, if you do want to support Princess Maker as a whole, I do heavily recommend you buy Regeneration. But otherwise, I can't really influence you much else, because if you're focused on the fact that, you want to get a lot of gameplay done, you want to get a lot of Steam achievements done, then Refine is going to look more appealing. Yeah, using the bad Japanese angle, which is leaving it to the country and not taking any risks. Well, again, from a business standpoint, when only, I don't know how much it's sold, but if it doesn't make a profit, they have a legitimate business reason, like, for example, if I were to make a commercial game right now, and I don't even sell, say, 100 copies, or 100 people do not buy my game, I'm gonna go, well, what's the point in continuing support for this game when I'm not getting anything out of the time? And so that's what you have to look at when you're looking at the business side of things, and in that respect, they are right. That's why when people dunk on the game, and they expect that, oh, they should change their view, you're not gonna change their view because it's not providing a profit, if nothing else. That's why I want to emphasize, I want to put it into perspective what's going on here. Is it a smart business decision? Might they be a lot better if they chose to do it regardless, like come out with an English release with a Japanese release? Sure, but if you actually want to change their view, your money is what's going to change their view. Now, you could also just say, well, I'm just one person buying it and it's not going to make a difference anyway. But again, it starts with small steps. It really does, but again, I already see at this point it's probably a losing battle if I'm to gauge my objective view on where Princess Maker's at, but at least we have Regeneration, so Princess Maker 2, the one that's most popular among, in general, I guess, is at least got its proper English translation, despite its flaws technical-wise. Yeah, quite a bad first step, but again, if you're not gonna get it, like, again, the money isn't there, they're gonna look at it, or whoever's in charge looks at it and go, well, it didn't make much of a profit, so no point making a modern English localization or version of the other one, Princess Maker 1, 3, 4, 5, and assumably 6 when it comes out. Again, I heavily suspect at this point in time, unless something changes in the near future, that Princess Maker 6 comes out. At worst, it doesn't even get an English translation. At best, the English translation comes out months or a year later. That's just the reality of what's happening now, because of how poorly just in general, the outlook is on the English releases of things. Even though Regeneration was is a very good English translation, relative to even other games that have an English translation. Like, I would argue in the quality of translation for Regeneration is a lot better than Volcano's Princess's English translation of Volcano Princess. But Volcano Princess, again, looks to be a better game because of overall its gameplay, just as a video game, exists. Again, obviously, if you're to bonk me on the head and say, well, Jordan, the gameplay, the video game, Regeneration as a video game is not better than Volcano Princess. Yes, I'd have to objectively agree. But if you're looking for, if you're looking for more, if you want to make a difference, it's the money is where it's at, right? Vote with your wallet. But, and then also right after that would be the average reviews. But in this case, the negative hurts more than the positive, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, they also gain no money, reputation. That's my fear, right? Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. And the fear is this sets a precedent for any other Japanese game, because then you look at I think I'm okay at putting myself in the shoes of, thinking what's happening in the market. So in this case, what's happening is a game as beloved as, or apparently as beloved, if we're to use, again, I'm taking the perspective of someone looking in, is, a game as beloved as Princess Maker 2 got 2 translations, and the translation is better, but the game was still reviewed horribly and did not sell well. So why for any other, I don't want to name drop anything else, but why for these other games, why bring back these old IPs and make them, translate them into English when something as beloved as Princess Maker 2 did not perform well? I'm shrugging my shoulders in real life with my hands in the air. Like that's literally what's happening. And again, for valid reasons as well. I mean, you can see them, technical reasons, but you can use laws for FF7, but FF7 is large enough that it's going to get an international release anyway. We're talking about things like, say, let's just throw something else out there that's, at this point, the Atelier series, but again, FF is a very large brand, as opposed to Princess Maker, which is kind of, we're talking about IPs that exist in the middle, and heck, even Princess Maker has a definitely smaller community. So again, we're sitting in this threshold, and in this threshold, we're sitting in the No Man's Land area, and No Man's Land is not going well for English. So, yes, while FF7 is a beloved game, it has seen the potential, and obviously it sold a lot more, right? If Remake came out, and for whatever reason, it did not perform well as a game, that would be one of the bad examples. But because it came out and turned out to be a good game that people loved and bought, then there's reason to continue it, as opposed to, yes. And yeah, you can apply this logic. That's why, devil's advocate, you could say, Jordan, Regeneration, did not smooth out all the things. And I agree with you. If it had smoothed out these technical problems, then it would have been it would have had good reviews at least, and would have, I believe, sold a lot more. But because it came out in the state that it's in, again, the English translation is the best part on top of just the gameplay quality of life here and there and being modernized. But yeah. Your point would have been if the remake was just original FF7, but a very better looking and stuff. And yeah, that's part of the thing, right? Like, if it came out and was better looking and stuff, well, no, because that's hard to say. It depends on what you mean by that. If you mean it came out and was still an RPG, I think it would still perform relatively well. His, like, region. Yeah, but what I'm trying to say here is that FF7, in FF7's case, it was going to sell the amount of games that it did because a lot of people already loved it. It did not need to bring in more of the casual audience, but it did. However, Regeneration, I'm looking at its value in terms of bringing people who don't know or are coming back or have little knowledge of Princess Maker into Princess Maker. Again, relative to their own success. Because FF7 Remake obviously did better on its own, because obviously it's the game, performed well on its own as well, not just having, being localized everywhere else, and having English voice acting and whatnot, then yes, it allowed itself to sell more to the general audience, and so everyone bought a copy of that game. Turned out just fine. So, yeah, again, we're looking at part of the issue is also looking at a game relative to its current audience base. In FF7's point, obviously they were gonna bring it back, but they knew the numbers they were getting into, as opposed to in this case with Princess Maker series, where the topic becomes, okay, we want to sell to more people, not just people interested in Princess Maker, because the amount of people who are interested in Princess Maker are going to buy it regardless, most likely are going to, and in this case they're even losing some because there are people reportedly who say that they played the Refine or just original Princess Maker and did not like it. I don't think they refunded the game though. So I think Steam tells you if someone refunded the game, but hey, you would never tell. Yeah, and that's part of the thing, right? Whereas again, and regardless of your or my own views, you are looking at, again, from my own developer experience and just observations, what do the numbers look like? And the numbers are whether you like the game or I like the game or dislike said games. The fact is that a lot of the general audience bought FF7 Rebirth. They buy the Atelier series. They buy the Tales of series. Whereas, you know, more even though some of those games you could call them niche, but they still sell a lot relative to their own people, like getting other people to play it. Like you look at YouTube here right now, or you look at Twitch streams, and you see people when those games come out, you see a pop of people who never played those games before playing those games. And so the same cannot be said for Regeneration, and I understand why. Also into the series that based from you being totally, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. People who don't have any, people who would be more the not casual but general audience in terms of they're not fans, right? So are they going to buy the game? The answer, again, I see is no. And so where we're at right now means that we set a precedent moving forward for less games. Again, it's only, I'm not saying it's going to completely change, because of Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, where we are or aren't going to do it, but it's one example that gets thrown into the mix. So, yeah, install Volcano Princess, no hesitation. In Volcano Princess's case, a large part of that's proof. I think Volcano Princess, on top of others, are proof of games that show we want more raising simulators in the vein of Princess Maker 2. We're just not being supplied them. Period. Not much more to say about that. So, yeah, that's that. But if anyone who cares about Princess Maker 2, if you really want the series to push forward, sure. If you're someone who has no idea, yeah, you can say whatever you want. Like in chat. Me, technically, even though, yeah, me is actually a nostalgia factor. I do like Princess Maker series, but unless someone gives me the other current English translations, I'm probably not going to play those, basically. I think there's something else I'm looking at, but I can't remember what it was. But for now, I have Regeneration and I have Refine. I'm perfectly happy with those. If 1, 3, 4, and 5 get Regeneration, then I'll get those as well. But I understand from a casual audience's perspective, or general audience's perspective, those who are not fans, those who know less or nothing at all about it, will not get it, especially if they just look at the reviews, because I've mentioned this before, but if your own fans are putting negative reviews on their game, turns out you're not going to draw as many, if at all, and a lot of the audience who are not fans of the game. You want the old blood to exist, along with the new blood, if possible. Obviously, some people might drop off. That's just the nature of changing things in-game here and there. Like, even from... I'm sure there are people who played the original FF7 who are not going to be playing Remake or Rebirth because they didn't want an action game, they wanted an RPG game. Even though that situation is a bit different because the overall intent of the old games is that they wanted to be action games, but RPG is the closest they can get. So... yeah, just put the game... should have made the Konami product, put the game... that will happen a lot later on, if at all. If I had to put money down, I'd say they would never do that for Princess Maker. Because of the technical... even just the technical side of things. Trying to package now Regeneration, which is a Unity game, with the updates of 1, 3, 4, and 5. I don't see that happening. And again, at this point, like I said before, because of how poorly Regeneration did relative to itself... and its own fan base, they might not even want to do it, because it's like, what's the point if no one's going to buy it, right? That would have been value, but again, the risk in their eyes is not there. Whoever's making the decision is not there. Even though, like you said, it could be a good point, but because the evidence does not currently exist to support it, even if the prediction might seem like it makes sense, and does make sense in my opinion, they're not going to do it because the risk to them is much too high to put the money down. And again, I don't know how much money they'd spend doing such a thing, but yeah, what the average company is looking for, again, we know this to be the case. It's just that for whatever reason, and like I said, I believe the reason is because they look at it and they're like, oh, it's too risky. They may be right. We think they're mostly wrong, but when the decision is made, and the evidence isn't there. And again, The easiest way to change minds like that is to, again, you put the money down, but at this point, we're not at that state. It's just not happening. I would, unfortunately, bet money against things changing because people are not supporting games where and when they should. Again, if you don't have the luxury or comfort to do so, obviously it makes sense, but I believe there are more than a few players who do not understand that even though they're keeping the game and in essence supporting the game, when they leave negative comments and reviews like that, they are actually actively hurting the very thing that they want. They want the series to continue being localized. They want the games to continue coming out. They want sequels, or better remasters or remakes of a game. They're not going to get it if they themselves say, "Oh, I want the game to continue on." Proceeds to refund and or delete the negative review. But at the same time, I understand you don't want to. You shouldn't lie. Obviously, you want to still put in your honest review. But as it is right now, it's funny because leaving a negative review, valid and true criticism, in my opinion, is helpful in an ideal world. But when people whoever makes decisions, sometimes you have people looking at things responsible for making decisions on whether to do these things or not, and they take the criticism and they go, "Oh, there's criticism here. Oh no, we're not gonna do it." So yeah, that's what criticism is for, but proceeds to not do anything. Or otherwise, again, in an ideal world, yes, you want to move forward with the criticism that is, hey, there are these technical issues in regeneration, therefore we're not going to put out another thing immediately, but we are going to take more time making sure these are polished out. That is the hope. And I do hope that that's the case, because again, I'm not saying the game should have mostly negative reviews, but I do understand why they are negative, or the game is sitting at mixed reviews because of these technical things in place. But I also get kind of triggered when people don't understand that, hey, the localization team did a bad job. No, they did a good job, but I can't expect people to do more research. And I also still want to correct and say, hey, the localization team, at least from their perspective, they said that they reported that these bugs existed, and they actually were corrected, but the current regeneration as it is right now, the version that came out, does not have these fixes in for whatever reason. So, shrug. ASCII shrug. The goal would be at the end to change this criticism to positive comments, right? It is, and yes, that's the ideal state in which they smooth these things out, but I believe that it would take a long time, because I feel if I had to put money down that to fix these things would take a few months or more, even though theoretically it shouldn't. But I think based on what I believe to be the case in terms of how the game was developed, or if they were to come up with patches and whatnot, they don't have a big team, basically. There's not a big team working on it, which means they don't have the resources in general, resources to quickly patch these things out. But we'll see, right? We'll see in the upcoming few weeks or month or so. After about a month or so, if nothing happens, then you can kind of get a better idea, not a concrete evidence, as to the resources available, whether that's manpower, whether that's time, whether that's actual resources to patch things up and make sure the game is to address the criticism that's there. If their just decides not whether to fix those issues, decide they don't care much about what they released, honestly. Yeah. And that's the sad part, right? Because I think, again, I do believe, not just because I kind of know the localization team to some extent, but I do believe that the English translation, they did a good job, but for whatever reason, the game came out in the state that it did, and obviously people are to believe that. I mean, that's not like, oh, defamation, or it's, oh, Jordan, you're hating on the game. Like, literally, if you go right now to Regeneration Steam page, you will see that it has mixed reviews, and probably mostly negative at times, but we'll see as the week goes on. At this point, though, after about a week or two, I think the game, less people are going to end up buying the game. But also because, obviously, the sale ends in about a few days, or the release sale ends in about a few days. Yeah, there was passion put into it. It's just unfortunate that the game, other parts of the game did not work. But again, if nothing else, the takeaway here is that the localization team did their job. I'm shrugging as I put a period at the end of that sentence. But yeah, that's about it for that. As for World of Horror, though, we'll see. If I'm putting money down, I say that the next update even if that is just Steam Workshop support for public just in general, is coming out in Halloween. I wouldn't even put money down on more... that Titanic image that we saw that Panstas put up? Probably not coming out in Halloween, if I were to put money down. Ideally, I do hope that that's in, but we'll see. Also, it depends on how Gav marketing day. Maybe huge streamers, YouTubers may play it, putting more light onto it. Yeah, obviously that brings more people to the game. And I think in that regard, again, for people who don't, who have the money to put down and just want to buy the game and just buy it, it is going to be healthy for the game. But unfortunately, that's not. Again, it also came out in the gaming market as a whole. I think Regeneration came out in a time where other games are just going to smother it right now. So timing is a thing when you're releasing games. But obviously, if the game were in a solid state, if not better, then if it functioned as a really good... If it were actually a Princess Maker 2 remake, I think it would receive a lot more visibility and obviously purchases, but that's obviously not what it is right now. So, again, yeah, we'll see. It'll blow up, but obviously the negative side of that would be if it blows up, but people find out, oh, the game is not in a very solid state. But usually in that case, it would be good for it. But it is what it is. So yeah, without further ado, to recap, nothing else really much to say. We'll end the stream quickly because we're reaching the end of what we normally do. We're not even doing gameplay, but hey, it is what it is, right? We're here for a reason. But yeah, for the rest of this week, it's going to be Harbinger Horror and Princess Maker 2 Regeneration run. We're doing a hero run for our daughter, and maybe in the next week we'll be doing a Demon Lord run, but we'll see what happens because I'm going to be busy with things. There's no reason for me to drop the ball. If anything, I'm going to be having trouble doing game development. But yeah, without further ado, I'd like to thank stuttering. I'd like to thank everyone for watching either now or in the future. If you listen to me talk about Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, then I'd appreciate that as well. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and I'll see you when I see you. Bye!